Got folks rolling in on the Zoom as well too. Getting ready to have an amazing conversation talking all things AI and commitment to technology and AI, which is one of the four C's. If you have not bought your copy of the book, make sure you go to Amazon, Barnes and Noble, whatever you like to buy your books online and order it, or ask your local bookstore to carry it. If people still do that, I don't know if people go to bookstores really that much anymore. So, all right. So today we're going to jump into commitment to tech and AI. For those of you who may be joining for the first time, Katie and I do this every other week. Katie is out this week, unfortunately. Yeah, pretty excited for Katie. He's got some new things he's working on that he can talk about next time, and excited to jump into today's topic because, again, I think a lot of people, when it comes to technology, and I think AI has got kind of lumped into this behavior of like, well, can the technology really move the needle, right? Because I think what's happened is a lot of people got burnt. They invested a ton of money in technology, and then it didn't what we wanted it to do, right, as a part of it. So, we invested all this, et cetera. And so today's topic is, again, it's around, how to actually leverage tech and specifically generative AI. Obviously, this is the AI Unleashed series. If you have not bought a copy of the book yet, please do. I'll drop a link for everyone there. You guys can go check it out. I think you're going to love it. If you don't love it, tell me as well too. Maybe I'll try to write a better book next time. But no, I'm pretty excited. Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate it. It was definitely a labor of love. So it's pretty awesome that it's out now in the world, and dropped off some copies to friends yesterday, which was a pretty cool experience, I have to say. So let's jump into it. Let's just jump right in. This is crazy. Chat GPT, was literally 18 months. Thank you, Leo. Appreciate that. ChatGPT is literally 18 months kind of old. And, for anyone who's just joining this series, as a refresher, we started this series, back in September, which would have been March, but 3 months, 7 months ago. So I think really it was me and Katie sitting down talking about all different applications to revenue leadership, and what it could do. So I'm curious to know, where are you all in your journey? So I've got a quick poll. I'm going to pop up the poll. Danny, I also hope it doesn't suck as well. So here we go. I got a quick poll for everybody. Where are you guys at in implementing ChatGPT, right? Where are people at in this process? Are we implementing it? Not really seeing results. We're interested but haven't started. Skeptical about its effectiveness. I'm curious, all my LinkedIn folks too, just let me know where you're at on that continuum. Yep, we're running forward. We're doing a ton of different stuff. We're a little nervous. We're not sure what to do, etc. Let me know kind of where everyone's head's at in terms of where we're at in the process. All right. So far, it looks like results-wise, got about 50%. And if you haven't signed up, if you're joining on LinkedIn, make sure you can join us. We've got that this way you can kind of add a reoccurring invite to your calendar so you don't miss any. I'm going to drop the link. Or actually, Becca, I don't know if you're in here, but I don't see the link for the AI Unleashed series. If we could, drop that link into the LinkedIn if possible. So, all right, let's take a look. Perfect, thank you. In poll. All right, let's share results. All right, so here are the results. So where are we at on our ChatGPT journey? 50% said we're interested but haven't started. And then 27% said implementing it and seeing results. Another 20% said implementing it, but not necessarily seeing results. The cool part is nobody voted skeptical about its effectiveness, right? So what that tells me is we all know that there's a there. It just, what is it for me and what is it for my org is still maybe a little TBD. But the most important thing is that, look, you're here, right? You're here and to learn about how to implement it, et cetera. Because again, I think, and just so you all know, for the 53% of you that said like we're interested, you're in the majority here, and you're in the majority in the revenue world. I talk to, I don't know, hundreds of CEOs and sales leaders every quarter, and most of them are in that bucket. I've been doing a lot of talks lately with different private equity funds and growth equity funds, and kind of educating their portfolios on the different avenues here. So I'm going to get, we've done a lot of tactical sessions and talked about it, demoed a bunch of different uses for Chat GPT and custom GPTs. But I think what I want to do today is I'm going to kind of zoom out, in terms of like sharing like the big picture impact. And hopefully this will get the 53% that, are kind of on the fence moving forward. And even for the people that are maybe not seeing the results they'd like, maybe some new ideas. So I've got some questions here that were kind of teed up that I thought I'd just kind of run through. Maybe I might pull up ChatGPT too, as well, just because it's kind of fun to see it work in real time. Okay, so the first question here is like, if I was giving advice to someone who just got free reign, what would be the first and then the second thing that I would do to truly build a Chat GPT or AI empowered team? So that's question number one. And feel free, drop your questions in the Q&A. If you're joining us, I'm monitoring LinkedIn as well too. So if you drop your questions either place, I will find you. I will find your question and I will answer it. So, all right, first question there is, where would I start? Okay, and I'm just gonna, and again, I think KD, said this in our last session, but I've stolen it and borrowed it and used it liberally. As a part of how I've described it, is I think what's really important is it's not about thinking it big, like what's our AI strategy? Like what's this big thing? Instead, maybe a pivot or a change is think about it like this. Think about it like, what's our current workflow and where could generative AI make things easier, right? And so it makes it, so like step one, I think, is this mindset shift. It's like, you don't have to say like, where are the 55 things that I could implement ChatGPT? I mean, there are a lot of applications. But step one is kind of like, look at your workflows, okay? And then I want you to think, ChatGPT is really good at research. It's really good at like thinking through scenarios. It's good at strategy, etc. So where I would probably start in the revenue organization is prep and research. And I am going to pull up ChatGPT. Why wouldn't I? And I'm going to give you like a really practical use case here as a part of this. So if I go in, let me share screen. Desktop Uno. Here. All right, you guys should be able to see my screen here. It's part of this. So again, it's kind of some things to keep in mind here. Like we've created, and again, I'll have Becca drop the links. If you guys haven't signed up, we're getting ready to roll out literally V2 of these custom GPTs. So you can sign up. It's a pretty inexpensive monthly service, and then you can get some of these. Like you can get all these custom GPTs that will like just do the work for you. So you don't have to worry like, wait, what am I supposed to type in? What am I not supposed to type in? You can just literally click like discovery call prep, right? And it says like, I'm ready to start my prep. So imagine like where I would start if I were you. One, I would buy the custom GPTs because it's going to save you a ton of time prompting. So you don't need to learn how to prompt, right? So I'm going to provide the prospect's company. So imagine if I've got an SDR or an AE who's trying to book a meeting with somebody, right? And let's say I'm trying to book a meeting with, let's not pick SEMrush.com, right? You imagine this world where like, look, what would I normally do? Well, normally I'd go to the website, I'd go through what they're doing, etc. I, kind of pull out some notes, etc. Well, the key is like that. If that's how I did research before, and it would take me 15, 20 minutes or something like that, by using like a custom GPT like this one, or, your version of it, it's pretty comprehensive because it's going, and again, it can research a prospect. I could say skip that step if I wanted to skip it. And then it'll just kind of like keep going down toward trends. So it's like, okay, I work at Scaled, right? So I work at Scaled. Okay. And then it will start to do its magic here. So instead of me as a rep having to think through like, okay, let me learn more about SEMrush, right? Or let me learn more about this, etc. It can do, it can literally go in and pull like very specific ways we might be able to talk. Yes, I'd like some more talking points, please. Right. So this is just one like really awesome use case. So if you ask me like really like, straight up where I would start. Yes, Chris Hughes just signed up for the AE version. I love it. And here's the thing, guys, we're really focused on making these custom GPTs amazing. Like I'm so pumped for V2 that I'll talk to Brian, I think end of the month. So even if they work great today, I'm just telling you, like, wait till you see what we got coming for V2, that everyone will get upgraded for free, which is pretty awesome. Also, another option is to customize it to your business. If you're interested in that too, if you've got a team of people, we're rolling out the ability to customize these custom GPTs to your business, which is pretty awesome as well. But that's it. So I would start with prep and research, right? And okay, when else do I use that use case? Well, what about my sales team when they sign up? Like, what about my sales team when we do meeting prep? Okay, if you let that thread run, it'll actually end up spitting out a Word doc for you too, which is pretty badass. As well as a part of it. So that's where I would start. Step one is I would look at my workflow and I would look at where my team is doing research today and how could this help my team do higher quality research. I mean, the beautiful part about ChatGPT is it's really one of the only tools that increases the quantity of things we can do and the quality. Like a lot of times it's like if we do more, then the quality goes down, right? But ChatGPT, and again, you just saw there from like very basic use case, some potential details. Okay. From moving from theory to practice, how did you implement ChatGPT within your sales team? Was it a gradual integration or a more revolutionary shift? All right, cool. Okay, we've got some other questions in here as well too. So again, keep keep dropping the questions in here. So we've got Mike from LinkedIn dropped a question. So what's up, Mike? But first I'll answer this one, which is like how to implement it within your sales team. Was it gradual integration or more of a revolutionary shift? So I'll kind of double down on what I was talking about before, which is it's easier to do it in parts of the business. What will start to happen is your sales team or you as a rep, you'll start to figure this shit out yourself. You'll be like, oh, wait, I'm already using it for this. Can I use it for this? And you'll be like, yeah, I can use it for that, as a part of it. So I would say, I think a gradual approach focused on the, one or two use cases to start. And then maybe, a month later, now we're ready to see how it can help us to do next year's account planning or whatever it is. So I think a gradual approach is probably the best for most teams. So you don't, that way you don't, people don't get overwhelmed, because what happens with ChatGPT that I've seen is like, once you start to, it's like I can't remember what that's called, like the pit of despair, or like, I can't remember what it is, but it's like the stages of grief or it's like, you get involved, you're like, oh my God, there's so much excitement. And then you're like, oh my God, it can do all this stuff. And then you get like depressed and are like overwhelmed and you don't know where to start, which is why we created the custom GPTs. So it's like, you don't need to know where to start. Like we were going to tell you. We're changing some of the names to, like, one of the bots will be called like, I want to book a meeting with, and you just click it. It's like, I'm ready to get started. And it's just going to like help you book meetings like crazy. So I think gradual is the best. Easier to do it that way. All right. Next up, we've got Mike. Mike says, I've spoken to many people about ChatGPT. A lot are excited and embrace AI to boost their revenue and content strategies. However, people are concerned about company data leakage when uploading content. How would you address this? Okay. All right. Someone can, yeah, Leo, Leo, we can hook you up there. Just shoot me a note and I can get you set up. So, all right, this is a great question. And again, feel free if you're on LinkedIn and like, how many of you have like, is this a concern for you of like, oh my God, if I share it, like, is it going to leak my company info? So I'm going to talk about a couple of different things here. Okay. ChatGPT does not, like, if most of what people are worried about leaking is already publicly available. Like, I've talked to a lot of companies about this and about the use cases. And I'm like, don't you guys have all that on your website already? Like your products and your differentiators and all those, like the specs of the products. It's like, yeah, we do. So step one is like, you got to decide, like, is the information really sensitive? Like, is it really that sensitive? And then and then that doesn't even get into what I'm going to get into next. Number two is you should be using, you don't have to, but there's a Chat GPT for Teams option, okay? And with that option, it very specifically calls out in the T's and C's. And again, hit us up. We'll help you to implement this. We're already, Brian and team are already running down this path because we can get you guys set up like really quick. Is it specifically calls out in the T's and C's that it does not share data that it's given back to the master model for assimilation or whatever it is, right? So if you're using a Teams account in particular, it literally says we're not sharing the data back. So there's no world where it's like I upload a Salesforce sales data report, and then all of a sudden you're like, what is scaled Salesforce numbers for last year? Like it just doesn't work that way. Like it's just not how it works. It reminds me a lot of like the internet where like people were, like, oh, but what if they go to bad websites? And it's like, well, yeah, like, would you rather your team, like, there's an opportunity that they might go to a bad website or they don't have the internet? Like, I think it's a pretty obvious solution here that having the internet is better than not having it. Getting the productivity gains, like what I just did a quick demo on, is better than doing all this shit manually, right? As a part of that. And then there's like custom GPTs and things that you can build that will be proprietary to your company too. But there's a lot of different ways to do it. If anybody wants to chat further about, the safe way to do it for your company to make sure, maybe we can do a full episode on that, like how to make sure your company data is safe. Like what are the top three? It's a good idea. All right, so we'll keep the questions rolling here. Again, today we're talking about how to skyrocket your results with ChatGPT and how to see ROI. Again, it seems most people, just recapping, most people are in the camp of like, Jake, I attend this. I know it's important, but I don't, but I haven't pulled the trigger on anything yet, which is fine. You're in the majority, right? And that's what we're here to do, is to get some really good, I don't know, hopefully some use cases that you guys can start to run on, which makes me excited. That was Mike Tumulty. Oh, hey, what's up, Mike? Mike Tumulty, amazing sales leader, by the way. You guys don't know Mike Tumulty. And Umberto just bought the book for Kevin Dorsey's recommendation. Thank you. KD got a little shout out in there in the book as well. I did misspell Scott Leese's name, and he was very gracious about it, which is on me 100%. Okay, next question up here. So again, keep the questions coming. Really excited about, these last couple here that I've got. And like I said, we've got some time. So if you've got a question, you're like, Jake, tell me a little bit more, etc. Okay, I think the ROI, yay, Lydia just got her copy. That's amazing. Thank you, Lydia. Appreciate all your support. I think the ROI of ChatGPT and similar tools is still vague for organizations. And we're talking about breaking the system to skyrocket results. What has been your experience with ROI and impact to date? This is a great question. So we're still early, right? And I think that the tough part about showing 100% of the ROI is most teams are not actually rolling it out with a process in mind. It's just that they've got random team people that are using it, and maybe they're using it correctly or not. And so I think the most immediate one is, I think there's two, maybe three. The first one obviously is productivity. That, I can very quickly measure how much time I was spending on prep before and after. And again, I firmly believe that if you properly integrate it around prep, research, and scenario planning, that ChatGPT can save you 5 hours a week. I think that's kind of like the number. I tried to do some math around like, okay, average rep, maybe they're doing, they're trying to book 2 or 3 meetings a week, maybe. That means I'm reaching out to 50 to 60 people a day, probably. I need to do some of that research up front on them for so instead of spending 20 minutes, I can spend 5. And just so you know the impact of that, 5 hours, I'll just quantify it further. 5 hours, assuming let's call it 48 work weeks that we have instead of 52. 5 hours is literally the equivalent of almost 2 full months. It's 240 hours over the course of 48 weeks. So by just saving the time and doing the manual prep, research, competitive analysis, all that junk, I get 2 more months of selling. Like, because all the activity is like quality value add activity. So just think about it that way. I mean, that to me is like the easiest one to quantify, is just the time savings. And that one's a pretty easy one, I think, for most people to buy into and get ahead of as a part of this. So, all right, 5 hours and the research and messaging. Yeah, Brian called this out. Brian called that too. Like, and it's more personalized and a better, like, it's overall like better. Oh, nice. All right, Ruby's. She's already starting chapter 2. Yes, I love it. Thank you, Ruby. I appreciate you and everyone else who's bought a copy. Please share it with your friends. Share it with your network. We're #1 in business sales and closely climbing the overall sales category as well. So hoping that we'll get there. All right. So next question up. So that's ROI. Yeah, there's definitely an ROI there. Again, and like, you know, do you need to go and hire that extra person, or can your current team get more productive? Like, there's an ROI there too. Like, I really feel like with proper integration, I'm really excited. Brian's actually doing one of our first rollouts here on the Teams version, where we can set it up for your team and customize all the custom GPTs to your product and buyer. You know, I think I'm gonna have some more stats for you here in the next, call it 30 days as well. All right, so let's see. Danny Reed, question: do you use any AI products extensions for email inbox management? I do not. Well, I mean, Superhuman has it. I use Superhuman, and I cannot tell you, Superhuman is the best email client. I've been using it for however many years. I don't make a commission, but I could recommend that. That is like my #1. I'm an inbox zero person. Right. So if you know me or not, invite others in 3 months. Oh, here we go. Refer Superhuman. What's that do? Oh, you got to enter in the email address. Oh, that's annoying. But go check out Superhuman. Because Superhuman, what it allows me to do, Danny, is it allows me to triage emails really quickly. It's all based on keyboard shortcuts. And so I'm able to act and then, you know, hit Command, Enter. It stays in my inbox, or the default is it sends in archives. So I'm able to act and then be like, oh yeah, I need to make sure I follow up with that person. Then hit H and then snooze it to a Friday, and it pops in, and then I take my action. So I use it as a combination of email, task management, calendar. You can do a calendar. You can literally create a calendar invite in it just by hitting the B. Just hit literally the letter B, and then it'll pop up a calendar invite. So Superhuman is my email box management. If there is one that I should look at, please tell me, and I am all for that. But yes, I am officially at, what am I at now? I am at, let's see here. How many weeks in a row now? I'm at 58 weeks in a row of hitting inbox zero, which is pretty, the amount of emails I get is, I think it's pretty impressive personally. All right, last question I have. Let me just go check over at LinkedIn, what's going on over there. Let's see if we've got any more. But last one that I had here, and then obviously we can jump into other topics as well. So, all right, for any leader or frontline rep who can't get buy-in at this point for a big shift into generative AI, what would your advice be to get the executive team, whoever they need to, on board? Okay, this is a great one. Really good questions here, by the way, as a part of this. So appreciate that. So what I would do, the good part about ChatGPT is I don't need to tell my boss. You don't need to go tell your boss, right? You can buy our custom GPTs, or you can just use it, the paid version. Make sure you upgrade it to the paid version, by the way, so it can, you know, search the internet, and you can upload documents. Like, it's the easiest $25 you'll spend a month. You know, yeah. There's very few things I would not give up in order to pay the $25 a month for the paid version as well. So you don't need to get your boss's permission. That's one. What I'm a big fan, and again, where I've seen a lot of success, if you can imagine, I'm somebody who likes to challenge the status quo from time to time. And where I had a lot of successfully challenging the status quo is I use this script. And you can, you know, if you're going to bookmark a point in this, you know, to come back to, this is my script for anything that I want to do to get change management. And I batted 1,000, you know, I batted 100 or 1,000. I guess you bat 1,000, you got it my way 100%, etc. So, all right, here we go. So I will talk you through my script and what I do and what I say. Here it goes. Hi, Jake. I've been using ChatGPT to help me with prep and research. I've found literally that it's increased the quality of what I've done. And again, you can insert whatever use case you want to use it for. And it's saving me like multiple hours of whatever it is. What I'd like to do, and I'll keep using our current workflow, I'll keep doing that. But what I'd like to do, let's say if you want to test it out because you think it can help you with better messaging or better prep. What I'd like to do is I'll still do it kind of like the other way, but I'd like to test this out. I'd like to test doing research this way or doing my account plan or whatever it is this way for the next month. I'll still do it your way, and I'll do it this way too. Then what I'll do is I'm going to bring you the results. And if my way is superior, right, or it's proving to get better results, are you then open to us potentially doing this, across the team, right? Or us doing this, or you guys kind of like leveraging some of these custom GPTs or having me go out and build them, right? Or whatever that looks like. So I always say, hey, I'm going to do your thing. I'm going to do that. So you don't need to worry about, your boss yelling at you, why is Jake, whatever. I'm going to go run this experiment. If this experiment's successful, are you then comfortable with whatever, ABC next step would look like? So that little script I have used to push change in every organization probably I was a part of. Because you got to understand, your boss is the one who gets yelled at, right? Your boss or your boss's boss is like, if you don't do what they think that you're supposed to, then they got to go have a conversation. They don't want to go have a conversation. So you just say, hey, great, I'm happy to do it. I'm going to do exactly what it is. I'm going to try this experiment. If it works and I prove it with data, then are you open to doing whatever more? So that's it. That's my go-to script for that piece. So that's what we've got. I mean, those are the ways that, again, like, we're talking about breaking and skyrocketing results. Step one is for my 53%ers out there who have not done anything. Go sign up for the paid version. You can sign up for our own GPTs as well too if you want, but definitely start with the paid version. We've got workshops as well too. Becca can drop some of those links. That's a pretty good first step for maybe a lot of you too. If you're like, go to one of Brian's workshops. They're live workshops too, which is pretty awesome. It's not just like, pre-recorded, whatever. I'll drop the links in here just real quick. This is a good first step for those of you who are in that 53%. It's like $140. You also get Prompt Pro for free. And I think if they buy this week, they might get the book. They might get the book too. I don't know. I'll leave that up to marketing. But yeah, for my take, if you want to see explosive, results and growth, it's about looking at your workflow first and then saying, here's where it is. Here's where it is, like in the process. The next leadership workshop's tomorrow. All right. Well, there we go. Come join Brian. We're actually going to be releasing here in the next bit. What do you call it? We're launching kind of like a 101, 201, 301 kind of workshop series, which I think is pretty cool as a part of that. So that's what's up, everybody. That's what I got for you this week on AI Unleashed, right? Hopefully this has given you some ways to think about how I can integrate this, how I can implement this in my org and where I can get started. And like I said, we've got a bunch of different resources. If you join this week, still, if you buy the book, you get free access for the year to Innovative Seller, the community that we built out in Circle, and that's got all the prompts in there as well too. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, pumped everybody. Thanks again. Really appreciate everyone's support on the book. Keep sharing, and yeah, we'll see you here in a couple of weeks with KD.